Hi guys, I'm Łukasz and I'm lead AI engineer. Today we'll continue to check the new AI inference engines. If you missed the last episode, just a reminder that 80% of cost of AI model lifecycle typically account for the inference and the rest is a training. So inference is something that companies focus on for business to basically save money while serving the users with the same output. So last time we tested SGLang and vLLM. Today we'll add to this stack TensorRT LLM and Dynamo. We'll use for this the new CUDA 13.1 that supports the driver version 590-4801. We'll use RTX6000 Blackwell that offer us 96 gigabytes of VRAM. Also, if you are curious and want to install it yourself, this is the driver that I use from additional drivers, and it works perfectly fine for me. Typically, you need to do very weird voodoo kind of things to install everything and make it work, but this time it was quite flawless. So let's dive in. Now we'll quickly go over the new engines that I added and why. So basically the first one, Dynamo, this is a data center scale distributed inference serving framework. You can see that it has 6,000 stars. So this is designed by NVIDIA for their software, and the predecessor was Triton, and it's used to serve models that don't fit on one GPU, but you can also use it to run the models, for example, on one GPU. So without going much into the details, because I think I was too in detail last time, we can see that we can host it on single GPU, multiple GPU, and multi-node and so on, like in servers. So I want to focus on it because it's quite hard to run, but it supports SGLang, TensorRT LLM, and vLLM. So the main engines that are used in production, scaling, and so on for local inference. And there are also a few interesting things happening here that we'll look into. And the next one is TensorRT LLM. So this is also designed by NVIDIA Inference engine. So if you ask me what's the difference between this and vLLM, I would say vLLM is more used and quite easy to run, and it also supports more models from what I saw. But the TensorRT LLM is optimized by NVIDIA because it's created by them, so it supports newest CUDA versions and should provide the higher true output. So now, like last time, I prepared the Pine project file, so if you get the repo, you can just do UV sync. You will get the all packages, you activate the environment. In my case, it's here. I use fish, so I have .fish, but for bash it will be different. And yeah, that's how you activate environment. And then what I wanted to say is to download model fast. I export my HF token. I changed the name. Last time we used Hugging Face token, but now I use HF token because Hugging Face makes some updates and it provides me issues and so on. So I changed it to follow the best practices. And as you can see, I created a lot of Dockers, and we'll talk soon. So you can export your token, then you can enable HF transfer. So this is to basically quicker download model. As you can see, I already have it, but because I have slow internet, I needed to find out how to download it faster because using normal methods were failing and take a lot of time. So as you can see, I changed the model. And why? Well, that will be the few caveats of this test. So basically, TensorRT LLM don't allow the last model that use MOE architecture Qwen. So I need to change to the model that will be supported by all of these architectures. Okay, so first we'll look into the single inference engines. So these are without the Dynamo. I changed the schema of Docker that I used in the last video. So we'll use bridge. It's better for security and separation of network. We'll mount the environmental variable so we can pass the HF token that will be used for the loading of the model. We have the cage with home parameter, so it will be basically more bulletproof. And then we provide HF home, HF app cage for the model, and we can already run it. Yeah, it's running. So we can observe it with compose logs. So while it's loading, we provide 0.8 of maximum GPU, and as you can see, it failed. So that's the funny part. I tried to run it. I think I approached to fix SGLang like 2 or 3 times. I saw some people using it or 6000 Pro, but all of this don't work, so I couldn't really run it. But in general, this was also applied to most Dockers because there is limit on OS to get messages, open sockets and close sockets on Linux, and you need this to mitigate some issues when you will do benchmarks later, basically. But yeah, you can also delete it and check it and so on. So the one that was without any issues was actually TensorRT LLM. So if we run it, yeah, it will be building. And as you can see, follow same structure. We get 10,000 tokens because on the benchmark later, if we provide too small amount of tokens, then it can finalize the request. So as we can see, it's loading and so on. So I will not maybe show every engine because that will take us ages, but I will just go through them. TensorRT LLM typically loads faster than vLLM. I think it also caged the CUDA graphs, but yeah, it's something to check. I provided some tests because I was doing a lot of brainstorming and issues with all of these models. As we can see, we get the curl command and it answers us. Yeah? This is a simple open AI call on 8000 port. So for VLM, it also works, but you need to add this. So this is related to 6000 Pro and the compatibility of the new CUDA. So this is no issue. So basically you point to the location of CUDA files for VLLM to run, and then it run also. We need to stop this, and then we can run this. But yeah, so while it's running, I will go to the next ones. Okay, so as you can see, VLM is running. We use 15.8 version. Quen model, 80%, 10,000 tokens. I ran a few requests to basically warm it up, so we don't need to wait for output. Now if I run this, here you can see we got the message with thinking tokens because it's thinking model. So now let's quickly explain only this. So as you can see, there are quite a lot of services. Now, why? So the NATS, the first service, it's a lightweight message broker that handles communication between services. So in our setup, it enables Dynamo frontend and backend engines to communicate asynchronously. So this is the backend and the frontend. And then we have etcd. So etcd is a distributed key value store used for service discovery and configuration management, and Dynamo uses it to track which GPU engines are available and their current state. So the front end basically receives the requests, the API calls, and then the backend serve the engine and everything. So few caveats that I needed to find out. As you can see, we mount this file. This is recommended for Dynamo for running the NAT services, so I need to mount it every time I run it. As we can see, we use bridge. Each name of Dockers is different for the benchmarks also. We use unlimits also. We use depends on to see when services started, because this two needs to start first, and then this, and this takes longest, basically. So yeah, and also this is a good point that, yeah, as we can see, we need these environmental variables, but I set it up for you guys, so you can just one click and it will start. Now I will need to stop this. So I will run one as example. So will it starts? So I created this one that have 4 services. So you can see, for example, logs of each one separately. So here we can see that the server is starting, and we can also observe the backend and so on, or frontend. And now there is also this. So initially, to run it, you actually need to can run it through one Docker, but then you need to execute all these commands inside. So I simplify it, but we'll do it also manually. So you see how much time and complexity it saves. And the same rules applies here. And the same for vLLM. The funny part that vLLM works without this volume mounted on Dynamo. So as you can see, there is advantage that we use NVIDIA optimized inference engine that already solved this issue because they know it first, let's say. Now to demonstrate, yeah, this is working, and we can send some requests using our test again. So yeah, this is TensorRT LLM. So this was first request, and as we can see, it was quite fast because you don't need to warm up. But yeah, now to see something interesting, most of these things are in README, so you can look through it. NVIDIA, the example of NVIDIA is to run it like this. Okay, now I'm in Bash. I can run just this command, and I start server, as you can see. And now we have some instructions here, but I prepare all of it for the model we have inside here, so we can go through it. So first we need to start these services, and this is all in one Docker that runs here. So we start the services. We can see they already started. Then we need to attach another shell, because we also need to export the endpoints to the frontend, for example. So we export this, then we run the frontend. We can run it in the same shell. So this will load, and when it loads, we can do backend. I think I use Tensor, yeah, RT LLM image. Okay, so backend starts. And now let's attach another shell. And we start the backend. You can see it's loading. Here the front end. You can see it started. This is classic auto tuning, selecting everything. We can see max length sequence and so on. Also, if you debug nice to see at the beginning what are the default parameters that the model start with. Okay, so it ran. As we can see, we get response. Okay, and the last group of Dockers that I made. As we can see, there is also one for at the end. This is the amount of services you need to run if you want to run it. For example, this run everything inside one, and it executes bash instructions that I show you one by one. So if you want, you can run this also, but yeah, I prefer this because then you can see each service and control everything. But I also created this because Dynamo allows you to basically run it without nuts and etcd, but you need to do a few steps. Now let's look. This is vLLM. So you need to use this special flag, KV events. And also what I do here is that I have issue with permissions of the users for the Dockers that NVIDIA is running. So I make the file in the same direction as the cage of Hugging Face, and I just give it rights because I wanted to use it to store the KV cage while running these Dockers. So if you want to run one of this, you need to do it too, or adjust it yourself, because there was classic issue with if you can modify files inside and so on that the repo was using. So basically, I added these two volumes and then the file KV. And as we can see, we use -- store KV file. The same here. Yeah, the same here. Basically to run all of it locally. And this is with separation by two services, and this is with one using bash to do it in one go. So basically you can choose whatever you want. And now we'll talk why I only choose the maximum number of tokens and not other parameters. So at the beginning, I tried to find the default parameters for both engines because I feel like I would be biased if I don't set everything the same. But it's not as easy as it sounds. For example, for TensorRT LLM, there is max sequence length, and for vLLM, there is max model length. So they were kind of identical, but also the specifics of engines, they define it with some goal in mind. So when I tested, there was not much difference. And second, that they were kind of identical, but also I let it on default because that's what most people would do while using it. But for example, we can define like max current users with like batch size for TensorRT LLM, and vLLM we can use max number of sequence. But like I said, for example, in Tensor they could set it to lower value because their engine perform better when they compute this amount of requests and so on, and it changes, and so it's very hard to do. I also was looking at like total token capacity and like max batch tokens to optimize it, but I came to conclusion that it's better to just leave it at the 10,000 tokens and let the engines decide. And in last test we used ShareGPT dataset, but now I added random. Why? Because ShareGPT, it's a conversational dataset that have human AI chat logs, so it like real user behavior with different input outputs and so on. But if you want to compare it, for example, to the models that other people use or even GPUs, then you need like something that will be basically more uniform and predictable, because like ShareGPT can give you prompts that will be variable between tests, so it's not as precise. So that's what random it is. So it generates tokens synthetically. And here you can see we use the SGLang bench again. We can, for example, run one Docker. Let's use this because it's faster. So I use these two commands that I also posted here. So I define the input and output for random. The number of prompts is 1000 again, the same model, same port, so it's easier. Infinite burst of messages, but I noticed there is a bit of issue with, like, for example, Dynamo. It likes to crash on these tests because they have their own resource to test. So I reduced the max concurrency because it's related to this that I added. Basically on the OS, if you do burst, and depending on how they implement everything, you like open too many sockets and you basically nuke your networking because it can create as many sockets, 1000 requests at the same time. So well, maybe something interesting, but yeah, that's how it works. And 10 warm-up requests, because for example, vLLM is super slow on first request because you need to warm up it yourself. And then basically the same for the ShareGPT. I just provided max concurrency to not crash things to test it easier. Okay, so here we can see that I ran ShareGPT. I restarted everything so I can show you that the dataset got landed. Now it's sending requests. I also missed some dependencies, so I added it by project, and we can see how the GPU usage looks like. So we can see we were loading model, and then for TensorRT LLM, it's quite straight line. I also put all of these graphs here. So all of these Dockers, I run all these tests, and you can see all the graphs of loading, how it looks like. if there is like some two graphs, let's say this is ending of one inference test and second, this is for the same Docker. I always try to put the same thing on the picture so you can go through and see all of it. Generally, you can see that in the Tensor it's quite straight, and then in vLLM in some cases it sometimes looks like this. So as you can see, this is running the test. This is the quicker one. The random one takes much more time, and in second it should finish. And also all the benchmarks, I already put it here. This is how they look like, but I'm putting it in Excel so we can see it at the end. So now we just wait for this to finish and we can see the results. As I described in last video, you can see input, output tokens, end-to-end latency, time to first token, inter-token latency, and we can see how many successful requests and the time. So yeah, now I also put the quick how to compare LLMs with practical guide. So first, start with prompt dataset. So pick or build a dataset of prompt that matches your real use case. So like you can see, I use ShareGPT and random to get two different scores. You can include also a mix of happy path prompts or edge cases and must not to fail prompts if it's critical for your use case. You can shortlist candidates using benchmarks and community signals. So you can look through which models are used on Hugging Face, look through subreddits like Local Llama, how people use the models. And if you can host them yourself, I'm not affiliated or anything. I just see that a lot of people use OpenRouter basically, or any cloud service where you can host the model or instance and use it yourself. You can check the deployment compatibility. So yeah, for example, I don't check it because I thought that this model with more architecture will be supported everywhere, and then I find out it don't work on TensorRT LLM, so then I needed to change different model. So better when you check it in advance and then check your engines or whatever you want to use. And of course the resource requirements, so how much RAM, CPU, what's the quantization you want to use, if you want to scale it also, because like some engines support scaling, some don't. Like for example, Llama CCP don't scale quite well as vLLM and so on. So if you need async handling, concurrent request, batching, streaming and everything, then pick engine that will support it. Yeah, what you can then calculate the cost or just estimate it roughly. You should also normalize the settings in comparison to be fair. So like I only do max tokens, but if you want to add tools and so on, you can add more things and have defaults only settings or normalized settings. You can also compare output using simple rubric. So like what is the actual correction, hallucination, latency, cost. For example, you can use API, you can use local model, and there is a quite important thing that local model, your behavior stays stable unless you change version or quant, and API hosted models like to, for example, change things without notifying. As example, ChatGPT 4.0, they discontinue it and there was big issue on the community. And for example, I also use it, and even though they make it back, it never performed the same on the task that we have well tested. It always performed much poorer. So this is something that could happen for you. And also if they have some issues on cloud or something, it's down, and for local it's always online as long as you have electricity, your local hardware, and you don't destroy anything. So you can also always make summary and so on that we'll look into now of all your scores to make a decision. Okay, so quick overview of the metrics because I go again into too many details. So we can see the L40S, and this was performed on ShareGPT, similar one. We just reduced the concurrency. This was also on CUDA 12.8, so we'll see on the update. But basically 6000 Pro seems to be 4 times faster, which makes sense. SGRank was quite long because it actually have better speed in longer decode when you generate a lot of output. And we can see that TensorRT LLM overall have best results. It's fastest if we look into end-to-end latency. So when we send and get response back, it's also much better. So this area is for TensorRT LLM, and I think here, so from this one we have vLLM. I'm sorry, do some tests because I was checking a few things. So we can see that overall TensorRT VLLM is better, and also the longest service was for the 4 services with vLLM, which kind of makes sense because vLLM is on its own engine that run typically as one service, not with the NVIDIA NUTs and ECD. And the interesting part is the concurrencies. So what is concurrency? Is the number of requests in flight at the same times. So how many simultaneous client requests the load generator keep. Makes sense because vLLM load pattern is different, so they define how much they can load and so on themselves. But the overall speed was on the TensorRT LLM side because it's more optimized by NVIDIA, especially for a new GPU like 6000 Pro. The next plan is to maybe use this repo, which is AI Perf, which looks to have much more options, but as this test could take quite a long of time, maybe I'll look into something else. So let me know what you would like and subscribe. See you guys next time. Bye.